First Contact and Deception. The Rakari Supreme Commander Vertix stood aboard the bridge of the Sovereign Blade, his iridescent scales gleaming under the harsh light of Earth's sun. His mandibles clicked in amusement as he studied the primitive blue planet through the ship's quantum viewport. Behind him, dozens of Rakari officers monitored their stations, their movements precise and calculated. Fascinating, Vertix mused, his secondary eyes focusing on the crude satellites orbiting the planet. They still use radio waves for communication. How quaint. His chief tactical officer, Zura, approached with a detailed holographic display of Earth's defensive capabilities. Supreme Commander, we've completed our preliminary scan. Their military technology is approximately 3 centuries behind our standard. No energy weapons, no quantum shields, and their fastest ships can barely reach their own moon. Vertix's mandibles spread in what passed for a smile among his species. The Rakari Empire had conquered 17 civilizations across 3 spiral arms of the galaxy, each more advanced than these humans. This would be their easiest conquest yet. Send the standard greeting package, Vertix ordered. Let them marvel at our might before we demand their surrender. Deep within Cheyenne Mountain, General Sarah Chen sat in a dimly lit command center, watching the alien ships through classified quantum imaging systems that officially didn't exist. Dozens of holographic displays surrounded her, each showing different aspects of the Rakari fleet's formation. Her weathered face remained impassive as reports flooded in from hidden sensors throughout the solar system. "They're broadcasting, ma'am," Lieutenant Rodriguez reported from his station. "Standard radio frequencies. It's a first contact package. Star charts, basic mathematics, cultural information." Chen allowed herself a small smile. Just as intelligence predicted. They think we're prehistoric cave dwellers playing with radio waves. She turned to her central command console and pressed her palm against the quantum-locked security scanner. A hidden display materialized in the air before her, showing the status of Project Shadowfall, humanity's best-kept secret for the past 50 years. "What's the status of the Phantom Fleet?" she asked, her voice steady and controlled. Colonel Jackson's voice came through the quantum comm. "All ships maintaining Ghost Protocol, General. The Artemis, Hercules, and Athena battle groups are in position. Phase shift drives nominal. Quantum cannons primed but cold. They still haven't detected us." Chen nodded, satisfaction evident in her expression. The Rakari weren't the first advanced civilization to discover Earth, but they would be the first to learn why underestimating humanity was a fatal mistake. For decades, Earth's governments had maintained a carefully crafted facade of technological backwardness, while secretly preparing for this very moment. "Their arrogance is their weakness," Chen murmured, watching as more Rakari ships emerged from hyperspace. "They see what they expect to see, a primitive species ripe for conquest." The alien fleet continued its approach, their formation spreading out to surround Earth in a standard containment pattern. They were following their conquest playbook to the letter, just as the xenopsychologists had predicted. Vertix's voice boomed across Earth's communication channels, translated into every major human language. "People of Earth, we are the Rakari Empire, masters of the Outer Rim. Your planet has been chosen for integration into our glorious civilization. Submit peacefully, and you will be treated with mercy. Resist, and you will be subjugated by force." In the command center, Shen's officers maintained their composure, though many had to suppress smiles. The Rakari scans showed exactly what humanity wanted them to see: outdated military bases, primitive weapons, and limited space capability. What they couldn't detect were the quantum-shifted installations on Mars and Luna, the phase-cloaked shipyards in the asteroid belt, or the 300 state-of-the-art warships currently surrounding their fleet in perfect stealth. "Send the response package," Chen ordered. "Make it appropriately terrified and primitive. Let's give them what they expect." As the carefully crafted message of fear and submission was transmitted, Chen opened a secure channel to the Phantom Fleet. "All ships, maintain Ghost Protocol. Let them think they've won before we show them exactly how wrong they are about humanity. The Rockeri fleet began their standard intimidation display, firing energy weapons into Earth's atmosphere to create harmless but spectacular light shows. Vertix watched with satisfaction as his ships took up attack positions around the planet. Little did he know that humanity's response was already in motion, a plan decades in the making. The greatest deception in human history was about to reach its climax, and the Rockeri were about to learn that appearances could be deceiving indeed. Soon, Chen whispered, watching the alien ships position themselves perfectly into humanity's trap. Very soon. The Silent Guardian Initiative. 50 years earlier, in the darkness of an underground facility beneath the Himalayan mountains, Dr. Elena Volkov stood before the assembled world leaders. Her presentation screen displayed the wreckage of an alien scout ship that had crashed in the Atacama Desert. That day changed humanity's path forever. "They're coming," she had said, her voice echoing through the chamber. "Not today, not tomorrow, but they will come, and we must be ready." Now, aboard the phase-shifted carrier Artemis, Admiral James Chen, Sarah Chen's brother, watched holographic readouts of the Rockeri fleet's movements. The massive ship hung invisible in space, its quantum engines silent, its advanced stealth systems making it nothing more than a ghost to even the most sophisticated alien sensors. "Remarkable how far we've come," he mused, touching the smooth surface of his command console. The Artemis was a testament to human ingenuity. A warship that shouldn't exist according to conventional physics, crewed by men and women who officially didn't exist. The Silent Guardian Initiative had been humanity's greatest undertaking. After recovering technology from the crashed scout ship, Earth's governments had made an unprecedented decision to hide their technological advancement from the galaxy while preparing for inevitable contact. In a nearby weapons bay, Chief Engineer Maya Patel supervised the final calibrations of the quantum cannons. These weapons were humanity's crown jewel, capable of bypassing any known shielding technology by targeting ships through multiple dimensions simultaneously. "All weapons showing green, Admiral," she reported through the quantum comm. "Phase harmonics are stable. We can fire without breaking stealth." The initiative had transformed human civilization while keeping up appearances of a primitive society. Hidden cities were built on Mars and beneath Earth's oceans. Quantum computing revolutionized every field of science. Yet on the surface, humanity maintained its facade, launching chemical rockets, using radio communications, and playing the part of an emerging civilization. Admiral Chen opened a secure channel to all Silent Guardian ships. "This is what we've trained for. Every simulation, every drill, every sacrifice has led to this moment. The Rockeri think they're hunting sheep, but they've walked into a wolf's den." In lunar orbit, Commander David O'Neill stood on the bridge of the stealth destroyer Hercules, watching Earth's false defense satellites transmit their deliberately primitive signals. His ship was part of humanity's true defense network, a web of advanced warships and weapons platforms hidden in plain sight. "Status report," O'Neill commanded, his Irish accent thick with anticipation. "Phase shift drive maintaining ghost protocol." "Sir," his XO reported. "Quantum sensors tracking 97 Rockeri vessels. Their shield configurations match our predictions exactly." The Silent Guardian Initiative had studied every known spacefaring race, analyzing their tactics, technology, and weaknesses. The Rockeri, for all their advanced technology, were predictable. Their military doctrine unchanged for centuries due to their consistent success against lesser species. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in a facility known only as the Forge, Dr. Volkov, now in her 80s, monitored the situation through quantum entanglement communications. The Forge was where humanity's most advanced weapons and defenses were developed, tested, and deployed in absolute secrecy. "The Rockeri are positioning exactly as projected," she noted to her team of scientists. Their psychological profile indicated they would follow standard conquest protocols. Their arrogance makes them blind to any possibility of sophisticated resistance. Around Earth, 300 human warships maintained their positions, invisible and waiting. Each crew member had been trained for years for this moment, practicing in simulated battles against alien tactics and technology. Admiral Chen studied the tactical display one final time. The Rakeri fleet had spread out, preparing for their standard shock and awe demonstration. They would fire their energy weapons into the atmosphere, targeting uninhabited areas to showcase their power before demanding Earth's surrender. All ships, final status check, he ordered. Quantum weapons hot but contained. Phase shift drives ready for combat maneuvers. Remember your training. We've prepared for this day for half a century. The Silent Guardian Initiative represented humanity's greatest achievement, not just technological advancement, but unprecedented global cooperation and secrecy. Every nation had contributed their best scientists, soldiers, and resources to the cause, setting aside ancient rivalries in the face of a greater challenge. In her command center, General Sarah Chen received the final readiness reports from the Phantom Fleet. Everything was in place. The Rakeri were about to learn that humanity's apparent primitive state was the greatest deception in galactic history. "The board is set," she whispered, echoing the words her brother James often used during their chess matches, "and our opponents don't even know they're playing." The next few hours would change the course of human history. The Silent Guardian Initiative was about to reveal itself to the galaxy, and the Rakeri would be the first to discover just how dangerous humanity could be. The trap was set. The hunters were about to become the hunted. The turning point. Supreme Commander Vertix stood triumphant on his bridge as the Rakeri fleet completed its intimidation display. Streams of plasma fire painted Earth's atmosphere with artificial auroras, a demonstration that had broken the will of countless civilizations before. "Primitive species always break at this point," he declared, mandibles clicking in satisfaction. "Prepare to receive their surrender." The response that came instead was silence. Complete silence. Every human transmission, even the crude radio signals that had filled Earth's atmosphere, went dead. Vertix's primary eyes narrowed. "Report." "Commander," his sensor officer called out, confusion evident in his tone. "We're detecting massive energy signatures, appearing from nowhere." Space itself seemed to ripple as hundreds of massive warships materialized around the Rakeri fleet. The human vessels, sleek and deadly, had shifted back into normal space-time, their quantum drives humming with power that defied Rakeri understanding. Admiral James Chen's voice, calm and measured, broadcast across all frequencies. "Rakeri fleet, this is Admiral Chen of the Earth Defense Force. You have entered restricted space and demonstrated hostile intent. You have 5 minutes to power down your weapons and engines. This is your only warning." Vertix staggered back, his scales paling. "Impossible. Our scans showed." "Sir," his tactical officer screamed, "their weapons are unlike anything in our database. Our shields. They can't." The Rakeri commander watched in horror as quantum signatures lit up across the human fleet. Each vessel carried weapons that shouldn't exist, targeting systems that could track ships through multiple dimensions, and defenses that made Rakeri technology look primitive in comparison. Aboard the Artemis, Admiral Chen gave a subtle nod. "All ships, execute Operation Checkmate." The human fleet moved with practiced precision, formations that had been drilled countless times in secret now deployed in real combat. Phase-shifted fighters launched from hidden bays, their pilots executing maneuvers that seemed to defy physics itself. The Rakeri's first response was predictable. They fired their main weapons at the nearest human ships. The energy beams passed harmlessly through quantum-shifted hulls, hitting nothing but empty space. "Target their command and control systems," Chen ordered. "Minimal casualties. We want survivors to carry the message." Quantum cannons fired, their beams existing in multiple dimensions simultaneously, bypassing Rakeri shields as if they weren't there. Strategic strikes disabled weapons, engines, and communication arrays with surgical precision. In her underground command center, General Sarah Chen watched the battle unfold. Tactical analysis. The Rockeri are attempting to regroup, ma'am, Lieutenant Rodriguez reported. But their formations are breaking. They've never encountered an enemy that could negate their technological advantages so completely. The Rockeri fleet, once proud and organized, had devolved into chaos. Their standard combat doctrines, unchanged for centuries, prove useless against an enemy that could predict and counter their every move. Vertix watched his mighty fleet crumble around him. How? He demanded of no one in particular. How did they hide this level of technology? On the bridge of the Hercules, Commander O'Neill allowed himself a grim smile as his ship's quantum cannons disabled another Rockeri cruiser. Amazing what you can accomplish when everyone expects you to be primitive. The battle, if it could even be called that, lasted less than 20 minutes. Rockeri ships hung dead in space, their crews alive but their vessels powerless. The few ships that attempted to flee found their hyperspace drives mysteriously malfunctioning, trapped by human technology they couldn't comprehend. Admiral Chen opened a channel to the Sovereign Blade. Supreme Commander Vertix, your fleet is disabled. Your weapons are useless. Your shields offer no protection. You have two choices: surrender or force us to continue this demonstration. In the silence that followed, humanity's message was clear. They weren't just defending their world. They were announcing their presence to the galaxy in terms that couldn't be ignored. Vertix, his pride shattered along with his fleet's reputation, slumped in his command chair. We surrender. As human boarding parties prepared to secure the Rockeri vessels, Dr. Volkov watched from the forge with satisfaction. The galaxy thought we were primitive because we showed them what they expected to see, she mused to her team. That assumption was their downfall. The battle was over, but its implications were just beginning to ripple across the galaxy. Humanity had revealed itself not as an easy conquest, but as a force that had outsmarted and outmaneuvered one of the most powerful empires in known space. The silent guardians had spoken, and their message would echo through the stars. Underestimate humanity at your own peril. Counterstrike. The Rockeri prisoner transport ship drifted through the quantum gate, escorted by two human vessels. On its bridge, Vertix watched with hollow eyes as his mighty warships were systematically cataloged and secured by Earth's forces. Each vessel represented decades of Rockeri engineering, now being dissected by humans who had deceived the galaxy for half a century. In the diplomatic chamber of Luna Base, General Sarah Chen faced the assembled representatives of Earth's unified government. The massive chamber, hidden beneath the moon's surface, sparkled with advanced holographic displays showing the status of the captured Rockeri fleet. The immediate threat has been neutralized, she reported, her voice echoing through the chamber. But our actions will have consequences. The galaxy now knows we exist, and more importantly, they know we've been hiding our true capabilities. Ambassador Marcus Wong stood, his traditional Chinese robes contrasting with the ultra-modern surroundings. Then perhaps it's time for Phase 2 of the Silent Guardian Initiative. In high orbit above Mars, the shipyards of Olympus Station shed their quantum camouflage for the first time in decades. Massive construction bays revealed themselves, each containing vessels that incorporated both human innovation and reversed-engineered alien technology. Admiral James Chen stood on the bridge of the Artemis, watching as fresh squadrons of ships emerged from the hidden facility. All fleet commanders, this is Admiral Chen. Operation Daybreak is now in effect. Proceed to your designated sectors. The human fleet began to move with purpose, not just around Earth, but throughout the solar system. Quantum gates activated, connecting to hidden installations throughout nearby star systems, colonies and outposts that had been established in secret over the years. Dr. Maya Patil examined the data streaming in from the captured Rockeri vessels. Their technology is impressive, she noted to her team at the forge, but their innovation stagnated centuries ago. They never imagined someone could approach problems from a completely different angle. In the detention center beneath Olympus Station, Vertix received his first human visitor. Dr. Elena Volkov, despite her advanced age, carried herself with unmistakable authority. She settled into the chair across from the Rakeri commander, her eyes sharp with intelligence. "You're wondering how we did it," she stated simply. "How we hid everything." Vertix's mandibles clicked in agitation. "You were watching us. All along, you were watching." "Of course we were." Volkov smiled. "That scout ship that crashed 50 years ago. It wasn't an accident. We brought it down. Our first successful test of quantum interference technology. From that day forward, we knew what was coming, and we prepared." Throughout the solar system, human ships emerged from their hiding places, establishing a new order. The quantum communication network, previously running in silent mode, now pulsed with open activity, demonstrating Earth's true technological capabilities to any watching eyes. In a secure briefing room aboard the Artemis, Admiral Chen addressed his fleet commanders. "The Rakeri Empire will respond. They must, or they risk losing face with their tributaries. But their response will be measured. They've lost their best fleet, and now they know we've been playing them from the start." Commander O'Neill's hologram nodded. "Our intel suggests their other fleets are already mobilizing, but they're moving cautiously. They don't know what other surprises we might have." "Good," Chen replied. "Let them worry. Meanwhile, we implement Phase 2. Operation Daybreak isn't just about showing our strength. It's about reshaping the balance of power in this sector of the galaxy." Back on Earth, in the depths of the Forge, Dr. Patel made a breakthrough with the captured Rakeri technology. "Their quantum matrices are compatible with our systems," she reported excitedly. "We can integrate their power distribution networks with our phase shift technology. The efficiency gains would be substantial." The news spread through human command channels. Humanity wouldn't just defend, they would advance. The Silent Guardian Initiative had preserved Earth's independence, but Operation Daybreak would secure humanity's place among the stars. General Chen reviewed the latest intelligence reports in her lunar command center. The Rakeri Empire's tributary worlds were already showing signs of unrest. The myth of Rakeri invincibility had been shattered, and centuries-old power structures were beginning to crumble. "Send word to our deep cover agents," she ordered. "It's time to make contact with the resistance movements we've been monitoring. The Rakeri Empire is about to discover that their military defeat was just the beginning." As humanity's fleet spread through the solar system, establishing defensive positions and preparing for the next phase of operations, the message was clear. Earth wasn't just defending its territory. It was about to become a major power in galactic politics. The age of hiding was over. The age of humanity's emergence had begun. A new dawn. In the Grand Assembly Chamber of the Galactic Concordat, silence fell as Earth's representatives took their seats for the first time. The massive chamber, located in neutral space, hosted delegates from 100 spacefaring civilizations. Today, humanity would officially announce its presence on the galactic stage. Ambassador Wong stood at the podium, his voice carrying across the vast chamber. "For centuries, we watched and waited. We learned from your successes and your failures. Today we come not as conquerors or victims, but as equals ready to share in the great exchange of ideas that drives our galaxy forward." In orbit above Earth, the combined fleets of humanity gathered for their first public display. Ships shifted out of quantum space in perfect formation, a demonstration of power, yes, but also of precision and control. The message was subtle but clear. Humanity's victory over the Rakeri was no fluke. Admiral James Chen watched from the Artemis as diplomatic vessels from across the galaxy approached Earth. "Interesting," he mused to his bridge crew. "How quickly the galaxy's powers scramble to establish relations once they realize they can't simply take what they want." The Rakeri Empire's response to their defeat had been telling. After initial calls for revenge, cooler heads had prevailed. The evidence was irrefutable. Humanity had outmaneuvered them so completely that direct conflict would be suicide. Instead, they sued for peace, attempting to save face by presenting it as welcoming Earth into the galactic community. In the forge, Dr. Volkov supervised the integration of Rakeri quantum technology with human phase shift drives. The combination produced capabilities that neither civilization had achieved alone. "Perhaps this is the greatest victory," she told Dr. Patel. "Not that we defeated them, but that we can now collaborate as equals." The ripples of Earth's emergence spread across the galaxy. Smaller civilizations, inspired by humanity's success, began to resist their oppressors. The age of unchallenged imperial expansion was ending, replaced by a more complex diplomatic landscape. General Sarah Chen stood in her lunar command center, watching real-time feeds from a dozen worlds where formerly subjugated species were negotiating new terms with their one-time masters. "We didn't just change our destiny," she observed. "We changed the galaxies." On Mars, the shipyards of Olympus Station now operated in full view, but with new purposes. Alongside warships, they constructed research vessels and diplomatic craft. Humanity's fleet would remain strong, but their focus shifted to exploration and scientific advancement. Ambassador Wang's voice continued to ring through the Concordat chamber. "We chose to hide not out of fear, but because we needed time. Time to understand, to prepare, to become ready for our role in galactic society. That time has come." In the detention facility where Vertix was held, the former Supreme Commander received news that he would be returning to Rakeri space. Before his departure, he requested a final meeting with Admiral Chen. "You didn't just defeat us," Vertix admitted, his pride finally giving way to understanding. "You changed the rules of the game itself. The galaxy will never be the same." "That was always the plan," Chen replied simply. "The strong don't need to dominate. True strength comes from wisdom, patience, and the ability to turn enemies into allies." As Earth entered a new era, the Silent Guardian initiative transformed into something greater. The hidden preparations of the past became the foundation for humanity's future. Research stations throughout the solar system shed their quantum camouflage, revealing advances in science and technology that would benefit all species. In the diplomatic chamber of Luna Base, now hosting representatives from 24 alien civilizations, Dr. Volkov addressed the assembled delegates. Though her hair had grown white and her steps had slowed, her eyes still sparkled with the same determination that had launched humanity's great deception 50 years earlier. "We stand at a crossroads," she declared. "The old way of conquest and subjugation has failed. Together, we can forge a new path, one of cooperation, innovation, and mutual respect." As the sun set on Earth, visible from the chamber's quantum-enhanced viewports, humanity's leaders contemplated their new role in the galaxy. They had emerged not just as survivors or warriors, but as architects of a new era in galactic civilization. The Silent Guardians had completed their mission, but their legacy would echo through the stars for generations to come. Humanity had proven that true power lies not in the ability to destroy, but in the wisdom to know when to hide, when to strike, and when to extend a hand in peace. A new dawn had arrived, not just for Earth, but for all who dared to dream of a different kind of future among the stars.